What is going on, everybody? TGI Friday, because you know what today means. That's right, we have another blog post, and this time we have a new buzzingly interesting kit to talk about. And there was a fairly detailed strike time video as well, which we'll be summing up. And the rest of the details for the week ahead in Marvel Strike Force. So without further ado, let's jump on over and take a look. Alright, and so we're starting this blog post off with the Searing Stinger. So this is the picture here that they have of Yellowjacket. We do have a little small clip later down of Yellowjacket's abilities. There's like a 30-second YouTube clip which we can show off really quickly as well. Keep your industrial strength fly swatter handy because a lethal pest is flying into the blog post this week. After seeing what all the buzz is about, dip your antenna into the rest of the blog where we have the lowdown on a reappearing legendary event, Parasitic Blitz, and a slew of bonus events. Break out the baking soda and let's dive in. So Yellowjacket is here. This is very reminiscent to... Oh, I don't even remember the movies. Was this the first Ant-Man movie now? I guess it was probably the first Ant-Man movie, because I think the second Ant-Man movie was about Ghost, or whoever the other character was. So that's who we're getting here. Millionaire businessman Darren Cross. I think he was also in other Avengers-related games for consoles and things like that, but I don't really know too much about Yellowjacket. It's been a long time since I've watched that Ant-Man film as well, so maybe I need to go back and check it out. But they are doing a new Pym Tech trait, which likely is going to be including Ant-Man and Wasp as well, and now Yellowjacket and the characters that are upcoming for patch 4.5. So he is a blaster with some heavy attacks, steals enemy health, gains speed, but all that we'll see below. So here's the traits and the kit. We have Villain Global Tech, a Blaster Pym Tech. So again, that Pym Tech, that's the new trait that's coming for patch 4.5. Global Tech, none of this is really surprising here. Looks it's gonna be very blaster heavy, I have a feeling, on this team. Blaster and controller probably. Basic Bioenergy Blast, attack primary target for 250% damage and a bonus attack for 230. So that's a guaranteed follow-up, which is nice. Special Spiteful Sting, energy cost 5 out of 5, so available on turn 1. Steal 30% health from primary target and redistribute to self. Alright, so this is gonna be important when we go later down in the kit. Receive an additional 4,000 health. This bypasses heal block and gain evade and regeneration. In Dark Dimension. Here we go, guys. So this is the beginning of Dark Dimension traits for Yellowjacket. I don't know if this is going to be included on Ant-Man and the Wasp in a potential rework or not. We'll have to wait and see on that. Prolong all positive effects on this character by a duration of 1 up to a max of 4. Hostile Takeover Ultimate. Again, available turn 1 and has 5 out of 5 just like the special. Gain 1 offense up to a maximum of 3. Attack primary target for 400% and plus all adjacent targets for 350. So this isn't an AoE, it's like a cleave or a splash damage attack. So that and the adjacent targets next to it. On kill, apply 2 random positive effects to self and all Pym Tech and Villain Tech allies. That's interesting too, because obviously other Villain Techs, including Ultron off the top of my head, which is like really the main one, there could be something here about using them together. Then repeat this attack targeting the most injured enemies. So I'm wondering if this only repeats once, or if you were to keep killing, if it could just go over and over and over again. So I wonder about that one. This kind of, to me, thinks that there could be some synergy here with Ultron, but we'll have to wait and see. Passive Don't Cross Me. While this character has offense up, gain 20% speed and 25% drain. That's quite a bit of speed. I imagine he's probably pretty quick already, so that could be quite awesome. In Dark Dimension, gain 20% damage for self and Pym Tech allies. So because it references Pym Tech allies, I wonder, at least maybe for the future characters that are going to come out, the 2 other characters that are likely coming after him, and also Ant-Man and the Wasp, whether or not they're trying to create some sort of Pym Tech, Dark Dimension team. We'll have to wait and see about that as well. So here is the little clip about Yellowjacket. I do have this on a separate browser, so I'll open that up really quick here, and we can take a look at some of the abilities here. So this is at the start here. Scroll that so we can see. So that's just the basic, I guess, there. So 1x mode, the bonus attack there on Merc Riot Guard, the special here, an additional beam. The animations are actually pretty nice, which is funny because I'm pretty sure Yellowjacket was actually in the data files quite a long time ago, so this might have been an older character that they were expecting to bring out around the Ant-Man and Wasp time, and for whatever reason never ended up making it into the game. But just like Ant-Man and Wasp, you know, the animations are somewhat a bit older, but still kind of neat, so looking forward to that. So jumping back to the blog post here, we have the Strike Time 2020 preview update. Now, I did do a lot of notes talking about, basically summing up what was mentioned in this, so we're going to get to that at the very end, and I'm going to let you guys know what was in there. So they talk a lot about Dark Dimension 4 and the Battle Pass, among other things, but let's finish off the blog post really quick here. So, Invisible Woman's coming back. Obviously, if you need to get Invisible Woman, there's going to be double shard events for Mysterio, Shocker, and Green Goblin, who are now on easier nodes because of that Do More thing that's in the event, this temporary thing for a couple months. Upcoming blitzes, we do have a Nobu blitz on Monday and a Venom blitz on Thursday. Both of them are going to have the Orb Fragment drops, which is from the existing Waking Nightmare event. I almost forgot the name. The Anti-Venom event, basically, where you can farm Orb Fragments. So don't worry about that. And actually, Nobu, terrible character, but if you still need shards for him for Phoenix specifically, that's a good time to pick up some extra shards for him there. And bonus events, we do have this training module thing. I think it's a double training modules here. And we do have this Raid Frenzy is pretty dumb. 20% cost reduction for raid energy, heals, and revives in raids. I don't know how many people who actually make use of that very much, but hey, if you do, then it's there. We also have a double shard drop rather for all shield characters coming up at some point here. So if you need any of these characters, or if you're farming like Wave 1 Avengers or something, then you can get in on that. And they're actually doing a double shard event for AIM, which is rare. I don't know if they've done that in the past or not, but here they are. Scientist, Supreme, AIM, Assaulter, and Security. If you want to farm them up, then they're doing a double shard for that as well. And that's really it. Most of it was from the Strike Time video, so I do want to go back and talk about that. So I do have my little notepad here where we're going to talk about it basically as they talked about it, but I kind of just summed it up so you guys don't have to watch it if you don't want to. So I'll put this in the little background because this was the basically the video that they had here for that, and I'll leave a link in the description below as well on the Strike Time video and the blog post if you guys want to check it out yourself. But basically they were talking a lot about, they started talking about ISOs, the saved ISOs for arena defense, which they're trying to implement like it already exists on Alliance War. A lot of people have been talking about that and wanting it. Now down the road, they have talked about Tier 2 ISOs. So currently we have Tier 1 ISOs. They are expecting to release Tier 2 ISOs, and they said new classes as well for ISO, which is quite surprising to me. They said at the earliest about spring 2021, obviously subject to change and likely later than this, but interesting that they're thinking about additional classes. I didn't really think that they would go beyond what was already existing, but that could be potentially quite interesting from a theory crafting position. Now they talked about blitz simming as well, which will largely be an indication of how well you know the game meta and improve chances to win based on the matchups you choose. So they use like, you know, defenders fighting villains versus, you know, if you use defenders versus Asgardians, you would lose that simulation. Their timeline for that is December, of course. I hope they really stick to that because I think that's something that we need, especially now more than ever. You know, on top of this sort of blitz crazy event with Anti-Venom, I think a lot of people are starting to get a little bit tired of blitzing all, like, most of their time. If they want to clear these sorts of events, you're going to need the blitz, and I think we need to move past that. They made a quick mention of a real-time arena game mode, or basically PvP drafting, but they were a bit vague on whether or not this was going to replace existing arena or not, or if this is going to be something completely separate like a PvP rank system to a degree. Not entirely sure what they were leaning towards there, but there is something in creation that's related to what PvP to some extent, or real-time PvP, and how that's going to be in a competitive way. They mentioned that PvP has been kind of divisive in the community, especially the draft mode. People generally like quick match PvP, but not the time spent on draft. So they are looking at how to deliver something more wholesome in quick matches, but they acknowledge it's just like quick matching the same Black Order team, especially at the top end. You know, you're always getting the same team, usually your arena team, and that's what quick matches seem to be all about. So they're looking to shake this up with the new Battle Pass feature, and that's what I kind of want to talk about. So Battle Pass is going to include a new set of reward systems and challenges to get said rewards, and they gave some examples of these new unique missions, such as like do damage with Sinister 6 characters or bio characters to fulfill this objective. Basically new daily objectives and using different characters because they might be specific requirements, and diversifying your battles because of it. This will be on top of the existing daily objective requirements. Some will be additional daily objectives, and some will be like weekly objectives in terms of the time required to fulfill that. What wasn't exactly specified, but part of me assumes that it might be a subscription model, or at least a monthly battle pass that you have to pay for. How much, we don't know. But they didn't say one way or the other, but I think that's what most people assume it is going to be. So we'll have to wait and see more and hear more information about the specifics to the potential cost of that. They did talk about Dark Dimension 4 a fair bit. They mentioned that going back to Dark Dimension 3, that the map just took a long time, and the amount of HP that people had was really high, and they acknowledged that Cosmic and City were pretty well received, but the first 8 nodes of Dark Dimension 3 just went the complete opposite, and largely attributed to the inclusion of Phoenix and how they had to make it hard due to that. So, based on my own experiences with Dark Dimension 3, you know, I wouldn't say a great time, but it was a lot better of a time in the Cosmic and City nodes compared to the first 8. You know, it was night and day difference in terms of what you had to get through to do that. In the future, they want to do better though, and the traits for Dark Dimension 4 will be different, and the inclusion of the new legendary trait thus solving the Phoenix problem. Likely eliminating the use of legendary characters in certain nodes, or maybe altogether. No confirmation on the complete removal of them from Dark Dimension 4, but this allowed them to redesign Dark Dimension 4 in a way that isn't too punishing like the first 8 nodes of Dark Dimension 3 were. And honestly, I think this is a positive step, because anyone who's run Dark Dimension 3 will know the first 8 nodes were just incredibly unfun for some, and you know, potentially ruining their drive to play the game for others. So yeah, it's, I guess, unfortunately, characters like Ebony Maw will also be included in that. He does have a drain mechanic as well, but we would be able to use characters like Minerva still, so maybe Minerva is going to have to be taken to Gear Tier 15 for this. So I'm going to wait until we get the actual specifics of the traits before I actually think about who I'm going to be taking up, either to 14 because I need them, or who I plan to take up to Gear Tier 15, so that's in the future still. There were some discussions about the Greek raid sliders to include not being able to heal your characters in the raid, more about utilizing your characters to the fullest and sustaining yourselves through the levels without having to use heal packs, and if you can't survive them, then having to sub some of them in if they die. They talked about squad management discussion before the end of the year, and the ability to manage your save squads from your roster screen rather than from character select before battle, so that is an improvement there. And there were some final hints for before the end of 2020, which I just assume is leading up to this patch 4.5. They said hero and villains come in all shapes and sizes, with emphasis on that last bit. But yeah, with Yellowjacket coming, I'm assuming this is just reference to the Quantum characters coming next patch. As we get closer and closer, and hopefully next Friday we'll hear some more information on the other new characters that are to come. But anyways, that's the end of the Strike Time summary and the end of my video. So if you guys found this informative, then please smash that like button down below and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. And of course, till next time guys, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Boylan signing out.